Ciao a tutti and welcome to today's video. This is Jake from AJ Reacts here, and I'm giving you my thoughts on what Italy need to do and how we can win the 2024 Euros. Now, we are currently the 2021 Euros champions, so we are looking to come into this tournament and defend our title, but there are a number of things that we have to do in order to do that, in my view. Now, if I look at this team, I look at the selection of players we have, you cannot tell me that this team, collectively, with all the talent we have available as of right now, we do not have a good enough team to go on to win the Euros. No one can tell me that, because we have some experience in there, we've got some youthful, talented players that are hungry to get into the national side, and we have players that have been there, done that, and won the Euros. So we still have quite a few players from the last Euros that have experienced what they needed to do to go on to win that and beaten some top teams to go all the way to win. Going into this, we have a new coach in Spalletti. We don't have Mancini no more. We had the horrible experience of not making yet another World Cup. And that was just solely due to the fact that Mancini was staying loyal to certain players that did well for him in the Euros, but didn't deserve to be in the squad. Whereas Spalletti, I feel he'll go the other way. He is a manager that has always gone towards youth and has tried to use them and make them such special players. And we've seen that evidently at Napoli, for example. He got rid of the main men of Napoli, the most experienced players in Napoli, the likes of Insigne, Mertens, Koulibaly, players that have been there for such a long period of time and were proven to be top-class players. And he was brave enough to get rid of them and bring in young players like Kvaratskhelia, Kim Min-jae, Lobotka, who ended up doing superbly well, and some of which even regarded as some of the best players on the planet after their performances. And with this young, talented players that we are starting to bring through now, the likes of Scalvini, the likes of Fagioli, Miretti, and we have players in their prime currently who haven't really experienced much of playing for the national side as much as they should have done, like DeMarco, for example. He was heavily underused, in my opinion, when Mancini was in charge. And then we have the likes of Gatti, who's starting to come through now, and he has been unbelievable for Juventus. But I feel Spalletti is going to go the opposite way. He is the guy that will always go for the players that are most deserving of it. But he's made a couple of odd decisions in terms of his selection, like currently for the next round of qualifiers in the Euros, he's brought in the likes of Keane and Bonaventura. And out of all the players, they shouldn't really be selected, in my view. But nevertheless, most of the selections that he's made has been spot on. And then it goes into what our starting 11 should be. And in my opinion, goalkeeper, I'd have to go with Merit. Donnarumma, for PSG and his recent time with Italy, he has not been putting in the performances that he is required of him. And I honestly feel that it's time to drop him, because I don't want us to be too reliant on him when the form is still not improving, and then we go into the Euros and he is not on best form. So I would put Merit in goal for me personally. Left back, this is not up for debate. It has to be DeMarco. DeMarco currently right now is the best left back on the planet in terms of form and how he even performed last year. He is the best left back in the world and he has to start. On the right, Di Lorenzo, a man who provides character, a winning mentality. He's got great leadership qualities and is someone that should, in my view, be captain of Italy. That is honestly who I think should be given the armband. And then the centre-half pairing. It has to be Bastoni, without question, our current best centre-half for Italia. And then next to him, it's tricky. For me personally, I would go either Scalvini, who's been an unbelievably brilliant talent for Atalanta, or possibly Gatti. And that's not just me being biased because he's a Juventus player. He has been unbelievable and he scores important goals. And you sometimes need that in a centre-half who can pop up from set pieces, from corners, that can put in the back of the net an important goal. Like Bonucci in the final of the Euros. But it will be between Scalvini and Gatti. I personally cannot pick between them. It is really a toss of a coin on which one of them should be selected. And then we go on to the midfield, and this is tricky because we've got so many top players in the middle of the park. For Italy at the minute, we can go from Tonali, Pellegrini, Barella, Locatelli. We even got Fagioli and Meretti now getting into the mix. And then we got Cristante and those are top CDM. But for me personally, I would go with Locatelli at that DM because he has the experience of winning the Euros and he is been proven a lot more for the Italian national side, more than Tonali. So Locatelli for me would just pick Tonali in that DM role. And then the two central midfielders in front of him, and this is not up for debate, you have Pellegrini maybe just slightly pushed up just a little bit more. It will make him more of an attacking midfielder. And then you have Barella on the right hand side as a central midfielder on that side. That has to be the midfield. And you cannot leave Barella out of there because he's one of the best midfielders on the planet right now and is getting such high praise for his performances for Inter. And then the front three, Chiesa has to be on the left. Chiesa right now is back in his good form that we're used to seeing him at. He has no injury issues, like major injury issues. And he's been in such good form for Juventus this season so far. Striker, Raspadori. This has to be the guy playing up top. Or even not as a striker, just slightly pushed down as a centre forward. Because he is a centre forward, so I would probably just push him behind just a little bit and have him playing in that role. And then on the right hand side, it can be between one of two players, and that is either Berardi or Politano. And for me personally, based on his experience and the fact he's in great form at the minute, and if this carries on into the season, he has to be the starter for the Euros. It might have to be Berardi for me. So that would be our best 11, and that would be the 11 that can take us all the way on winning the Euros. And now, with Spalletti, I don't know for a certainty what he will pick. I don't know if he will pick that team, but I know the formation we're going to be using is a 4-3-3. That formation is Spalletti's bread and butter. And that is the formation that we've been using constantly under Mancini as well. So there's no point in trying to implement a new formation. Otherwise, confusion and inconsistency will happen with the players. And then another reason why I think we could go on to win the Euros, and this is not solely upon us. Other teams that are going to be competing for the Euros. And like I said, no one yet has been guaranteed to be in the Euros. There has not been anyone that have qualified yet. I think apart from Spain, maybe? I'm not sure. So we have the likes of England, who are going in as heavy favourites. It's just a question of Southgate, because time and time again, he has approached certain games all wrong. Like the Euros final, England were all over us, and instead of continuing with their attacking football, which we were at times struggling to handle, they decided to back off. Then you have Belgium and Croatia collectively. They have lost. Well, Croatia more than anyone. The likes of Luka Modric not being in there, and I think he's going to be a big miss. And I don't see Croatia really challenging all that much without him. And then you have the likes of Belgium. Yes, they have unbelievable players in there, but they never turn up when it matters. Like this golden generation of Belgium over the last 6 years has just been a massive disappointment. And then you have Spain. When we play Spain, regardless if they're playing brilliant football, regardless if they have great players, we always have a good record against Spain. Even in recent times. Apart from the Nations League, we knocked them out of the 2016 Euros and we knocked them out of the 2020 Euros. Even when they were playing better, we still went across the line and beat them. And then really, Germany as well. Despite having such brilliant players, something is not working for Germany. They are not playing to their usual best self. So I think that there could be a number of things from teams that can help us go on to win the Euros. And I feel if all that happens, we pick our best team, Spalletti gets a spot on, and we have the luck of these teams having these bad traits come in our favour, there's no reason why we can't go on to win the Euros. Honestly. But we have to look at it realistically. Firstly, we're not qualified yet. We have had some shaky performances, but most of which was due to the fact that we had Mancini in charge and then he left and we're in an adjustment period to a new coach. And if we are all confident going into this under Spalletti and we're able to follow his tactics and the players are confident and composed with his tactics, then we're going to see the best. Because our best 11 can go on to win the Euros without question.